Hello YouTube, Big Ace Films here. Today I'm doing a different kind of video. I would like to start branching out into more areas and decided to make this video. Without further waiting, let's jump right into it. U.S. cities are falling out of love with the parking lot. California and many local governments are scrapping requirements that once made cars the center of the urban landscape. So why are cities falling out of love with the parking? Is there really too much or not enough? I'm going to go through this article today and I would like for everyone to tell me what they think in the comments down below. So I've gone and highlighted a few of the brief sections I think that are important. I'm going to go ahead and read through these. They are gray and rectangular, and if you laid out all 2 billion of them together, they would cover an area roughly the size of Connecticut. About 5,500 square miles. Parking lots have a monotonous, I'm not even going to say that word, in the U.S. life, but a growing band of cities and states are now refusing to force more on people, arguing that they harm communities and inflame the climate crisis. For many years, local governments have required the construction of parking lots as part of any development. These measurements, along with the expansive highways that cut through the largely minority neighborhoods and endless suburban sprawl, have cemented cars as the default transportation option for most Americans. Starting in January, though, California will become the first U.S. state to enact a ban on parking minimums, halting their use in areas with public transportation, and a move that Governor Gavin Newsom called a win-win for reducing planet emissions from cars as well as helping alleviate the lack of affordable housing in a state that has lagged in building new dwellings. So with all this right there, that sounds lovely for California. It'll create more stress for everyone already living in the cities, building even less parking lots, health emissions from cars. Public transportation will have to revamp up to support the amount of people during rush hour events and peak busy times on the weekends or weeknights. This alone would create quite a few emissions. Or is this a tactic to not have to build millions of dollars worth of charging stations for mandated 100% new zero-emission vehicles sales by 2035? Moving along, several cities across the country are now rushing to doing the same, with Anchorage, Alaska, Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Nashville, Tennessee all recently loosening or scrapping requirements for developers to build new parking lots. Cities such as Buffalo, New York, and Fayetteville, Arkansas, scaled back parking minimums a few years ago and have reported a surge in activity to transform previously derelict buildings into shops, apartments, and restaurants. Nashville is among a new wave of cities hoping to do the same. It's about the climate, it's about walkability, it's reducing traffic and the need for everyone to have a car, said Angie Henderson, a member of the Nashville Metropolitan Council who proposed the parking change for the city's core area. Nashville is very much auto-oriented and making that shift is challenging, added Henderson, who admitted that some residents complain about a lack of parking and have been unnerved by the changes. I gotta say, if it worked for these cities and there is a surge in activity, will this work for mainstream cities such as New York, San Diego, San Francisco, Miami, Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Chicago? I am curious to see how California's ban goes on parking minimums to see if this will actually work. I think people will still try to find parking in the city areas even after this is enforced, leading to even worse issues. Mandating the building of car parking can seem an innocuous and even common sense way to accommodate the roughly 280 million cars driven around by Americans. Faced with a public used to navigating car-centric cities, the ample parking at amenities from strip malls to concert halls, cities typically have zoning laws demanding at least one parking space per apartment built, one per 300 square feet of commercial development, and one per 100 square feet of restaurants. If city officials are being elected by the people, and the elected officials' decisions are affecting something that has been the norm for at least half a century, why aren't more people voting against these elected officials? I'd like to hear your comments and what you'd think about this below. Moving along, in the San Francisco Bay Area, which has become increasingly expensive to live in amid a shortage of new housing, there are about 15 million parking spots, with a fifth of the region's incorporated land area given over to parking and roads. In Los Angeles County, around 40% of the land is devoted to the movement and storage of cars, with parking alone taking up a space equivalent to 9 Manhattans. Even in California, there is still resistance to change, with restaurants near beaches in San Diego recently told they will need to replace any lost parking spots if they set up outdoor dining on the street. That is a lot of cars and a lot of requirements for parking on builders. It is tough, but with a lack of traffic and people walking past the business and areas, will the business still be able to be a success? I would imagine the marketing teams for these businesses will have to become more creative and be paid more to generate more customers coming through the door. With the new day and age of ordering more items straight to our homes, will there be a need for someone to actually want to come into a business and look for what they need versus sitting on a couch after a day at work and looking on their phone of what they want to order? For most people I've encountered, they would rather order versus walking half a mile to get bread or milk from the store. Or they would want to take their vehicle to grab what they needed because it's easier. Social media has contributed in part to this mindset, in my opinion, because it is all based on an instant gratification mindset. People want it their way and they want it now. They don't want to have to put in much work to get something these days. There will be more Grubhub and Uber Eats drivers out on the roadways and parking lots just as much as normal people if this may come to pass. Infrastructure and the way people think will have to change dramatically to support this level of change. There's really no certain answer until it is done, though, and I am curious to see if this will benefit the people on the earth or if it will just benefit the earth to make it green. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Also, this will be a somewhat similar lifestyle to the line being built over in Saudi Arabia. No one will be utilizing their car and will be walking to everything within a central location that should only take 5 minutes to get to. In the long run, though, people will want to be able to drive cars. It is a freedom they have, and it allows them to see new places and get to enjoy things that are farther from home. On the police force, I saw this every day. People would go to lengths not to lose their license. If the goal is to eliminate parking lots and people driving cars, there will need to be a large auto rental nearby for those with an itch to travel around the state or to see friends and family in other cities and states, in my opinion. There will also be a need for good insurance because no one will be familiar with driving constantly, leading to more wrecks outside the area with minimum parking lots. My opinion, to help with climate, cities should be telling businesses to team up, pay for parking garages. There should be a monthly business fee that goes towards the parking, and customers can also help pay the garages off, just like toll roads. This would build up and utilize less space than regular flat level parking lots. To make things even greener, there could be a mandated green space put on top of the parking garages, dedicated to growing more plants and collecting rainwater for the cities or aquifers. I really don't see how getting rid of parking lots versus building up will help solve issues. It's a good idea in a broad scope, but not well thought out, it seems like, in my opinion. I really don't see how getting rid of parking lots altogether and not building any more new parking lots is going to help solve the issue. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below.